following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
The Showdown Podcast presents The Survivor Series with Corey Miller, Vic Miller, and Brad Scott. This week's episode, Bulworth. Man. Look at the sky. Oh, the stars, man. The stars are beautiful tonight. Look at it. This is the 3-time award-winning Showdown Podcast. I am, like always, here with Corey, worse than two bushes, Miller.
What?
Vic Rock Obama Miller. And I am Brad, Ghetto Superstar. That is what I are, Scott. And this is the Showdown Podcast.
That was horrible.
Yes, if you couldn't tell by that opening music, this is basically the theme song, most popular song from the 1998 political comedy Bulworth. It was co-written, co-produced, directed, and stars Warren Beatty, co-starring Halle Berry, Oliver Platt, Don Cheadle, Paul Sorvino, Jack Warden, Isaiah Washington. Star-studded cast: Sean Astin, Rudy makes an appearance.
It Mikey was from Goonies.
It was Welcome to Trump's America, Showdowners.
Ugh.
It is Inauguration Day.
Ish.
Samwise Gamgee.
And, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I am nervous.
You're a white man in America. What are you nervous about?
Go look at my picture, comedian Brad Scott. See if I don't look like the first person they're going to grab to deport out of Greenwood.
Or just look across the table.
Actually, I think they may just make you sign the registry.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the problem. I look both in certain parts of the country. I look white, mainly to brown people, but to white people, I look brown. And those are going to be the people. The brown people are going to have an issue with me, even if I was brown.
Right.
The white people that think I'm brown are going to have a pretty big issue. So I am not looking forward to the next 4 years, but we'll get through it.
And then there's Corey.
Yeah.
Corey is ecstatic. He is living the dream.
No, not at all.
So we decided, with the spirit of... honestly, we were going to get the synopsis for the actual presidency right now.
Yeah.
This is strange. I have a feeling.
I feel like this is the exact opposite of the synopsis for the presidency.
I feel like Trump watched Bulworth one night on USA and was like, fuck it, I'm going to run for president. I could do that.
I can do that. Yeah.
Like, I really feel like if he would have watched, hell, I don't know, anything else. I'm trying to think, Jurassic Park. He would have tried to start an island of,
I thought you were going to say
an island of genetically created dinosaurs.
He would have hired a bunch of genetic engineers and started making his own dinosaurs.
I thought you were going to say thought he could be a dinosaur.
Possibly. Okay. Man.
What?
Where were you leading me with that joke, Corey?
No, I wasn't leading you anyway.
Where was I supposed to go with that?
No.
What was I supposed to do?
Oh,
with
you were
that?
just supposed to laugh. Maybe give me a coin sound effect. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I am going to give you that just because I didn't get to the other one fast enough. I was ruining your already ruined moment.
He talked himself into a ding.
Yes.
It is weird, though, how many similarities when you watch this movie and you just go, oh, my God, this is
yeah.
It's different, but it's the same.
Yeah, it's a bit scary.
It's the extreme other direction.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Unfortunately in this country, we've gotten so we're so divided right now, and I feel like the blame for that division is put in the wrong places a lot of times. A lot of people want to blame Obama for that. I don't think that's correct. I think Obama tried to unite people, but people, because of certain things about Obama, kept themselves divided. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like Trump has now divided us even more, but he's united a certain section that was already kind of divided from the other section.
Right.
And now they think there's unity, but it's like you just didn't like each other before.
Right.
So it's a weird time we're living in. And
It's going to be a very strange 4 years for
yep.
sure.
But 4 years is all it is, and there's never been one single president who's been able to cause the end of the world or the end of our civilization or our country as we know it. So,
But there always could be a first.
If it gets bad enough, there's called an impeachment.
Yeah, but look who becomes who vice president is.
yeah, by the way, if you don't live in Indianapolis,
You're trying to say that's his
you
insurance
don't know
policy?
how fucked we are if Mike Pence becomes president. We know.
He
Yeah.
picked him as his insurance
He's
policy.
the worst human being ever.
Oh, God.
But anyways, so
Here comes that knock on the fucking door I was talking about.
yeah. By the way, the Showdown very supportive of President Trump and his regime. We're very supportive of fuck the Muslims. That's
Build
Showdown.
the wall.
Build that wall. We'll get out there and help. Corey's been building one for years. Hasn't told anyone about it. But his goes all across. It's every border.
I have to climb over that bitch every time I come to record.
Corey just includes Texas. He's like, there's too many of them there. I don't want to have to start. We'll just give him Texas.
Yeah. We'll give it back to him.
So, isn't it ironic? I think he has a lot of support in Texas. That's weird.
It is kind of odd.
Yeah. It's like, he's trying to get rid of half you motherfuckers. Yeah. So
Well, that's the other half that's supporting him. So.
Yeah.
we're gonna start the show like we always do. And now the Showdown Podcast history. Corey.
I saw this movie probably when it first came out to video. I didn't think it was too bad at the time. I didn't dislike it, but it wasn't like, oh, this is a great movie. But we'll see how things go.
Vic.
Don't remember when I first saw it, but I do remember loving the soundtrack and the people in it. And that's my piece.
The soundtrack is what got me to watch the movie. I
Yeah.
remember that because I liked that song so much. And then when I saw the movie was behind, I liked the idea and thought it looked really funny. So I ended up, not when it came out, I didn't see it in theaters, but I did see it shortly, I believe, on VHS. This has been the Showdown Podcast history. So, Bulworth, 1998, crazy year. President Clinton in office. The movie was made on a budget of $30 million. Corey, what do you think the box office was if you haven't looked already?
I have not looked already. This is fun.
It's a new game.
Yeah, I know. 50 million.
50 million?
Yeah, before you say, let him pick.
Have you looked?
I do my homework, so.
You know what's interesting? We started this segment, Corey's Picks, last week with, or 2 weeks, whenever, with Dude, Where's My Car?
That was your pick.
Huh?
That was your pick.
Let him finish talking.
What do you mean?
You said it was my pick.
No.
Corey's Picks is the name of the segment where you pick the budget. I guess we should call it Corey's Guess.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Forget I said anything.
But you guessed the budget on Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh, yeah,
you guessed, or you did. We gave you the budget. You guessed the box office. Corey guesses the box office. Corey at the box office. Box office Corey. That's what we'll call it. Box office Corey.
That sounds good to me.
So box office Corey for Dude, Where's My Car? We had the budget at $13 million. You guessed it made $9.
Nine was his final.
$9 because that 70 show bumped it $2.5 million.
Right.
Yeah.
And it ended up being 73. This movie, we gave you the budget of 30. You said it was 50.
Yep.
Correct answer, 29.2.
Damn.
Lost money.
Wow.
You are not good at this.
I'm not.
And it is a very highly rated film. 75% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. 67% audience score as well. And I believe even IMDb has it at a 6.8 out of 10.
Critics,
for them is
critics
pretty good.
really like this movie. Critics had a lot of positive things to say about the movie that had nothing to do with the urban setting or the soundtrack.
We like all the white people.
It's exactly what it was. If you read some of them, yes, basically what they're saying.
So, Vic, why don't you tell us about Bulworth?
All right, so Bulworth is set in 1996. The Democratic U.S. Senate. Bulworth is going back up for election. He realizes that he has literally just slipped since he got into office. He's losing votes. Things are just going bad for him. He uses the same political speech at every single election, and it works every single time, but he realizes this time it's just going into the tanks. It's not working. So he's getting depressed. We start the movie out with him watching all of those things over and over and over again in a loop, and he realizes that he's kind of screwed. So he is trying to come up with a good exit strategy and to get out of the politics in general, and to get out of the headache that it causes him because his life is so shitty. And to do so, he decides that he's going to get a $10 million insurance policy on himself by strategically
For his daughter, as the sole beneficiary.
Right, by browbeating the insurance company that he's trying to lobby with him, into giving him a $4 million settlement for his life insurance. That's all to go to his daughter, not his wife, who they've been cheating on each other with knowledge of this for so many years that they just don't really like each other, but they're just keeping up face because he's a politician. And the insurance company finally decides that they'll do it. He hires an assassin through another company, a third party, and he tells him that you have until the Monday after I get back from this trip to have this done, or I'm going to cancel this check. So basically, if you don't kill me, you're not going to get paid. Which just seems kind of weird to me.
And he has to do this because suicide voids his daughter's inheritance.
Correct. Completely voids the inheritance. So the plan is to for him not to know when it's coming, but for it to happen at some point in the weekend. And he's going on kind of a whistle stop tour of all of his constituents in California to try to drum up votes. And his first stop on this trip is to this huge black church. Not black as in color, but an African American church.
Wouldn't that be black as in color?
No, because the outside of it is not black, but the people inside are. So,
I was thinking, what kind of religion would have a black church?
Satanism?
Maybe.
That would be your first answer.
If they're smart, Church of Cannabis. Which, by the way, is bullshit. Is you can't smoke weed there. There's a church in Indianapolis called the Church of Cannabis.
Yes.
That you can't smoke weed at. I'm sure they do, but it's not like, I don't know, it's not advertised. So it's actually advertised that they don't.
This is a real thing.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, it was like a big news story a year ago. And everybody was like, dude, they're gonna make it part of their religion. And that was what they were telling people. You're going to be able to come smoke weed at this church because we're going to pass all these government laws because of religion.
Trying to get
and then they were like, yeah, do that. We'll just sit outside and arrest everyone that leaves. And then they were like, okay, so we're not going to smoke weed.
Stop and frisk everybody going out.
Why am I going to give you money again now? Why am I going to donate to this? No, now it's just a dude in a building smoking weed. So continue. Where's his first stop? In the black church. Oh, one of the most famous scenes from Bulworth, because it's where he decides to go with the new campaign strategy of speaking his mind.
We stand at the doorstep of the new millennium. Our obligation is to reduce the and at the same time restore its creative power, to reinvigorate our society and bring about a rebirth of democracy. Any questions?
Nice.
Good evening. Yes.
Less is more.
The riots and civil unrest went down about 4 years ago. You promised us federal funding to rebuild our community. What happened?
what happened was that we all knew that was going to be big news for a while, so we all came down here, Bush, Clinton, Wilson, all of us. We got our pictures taken, told you what you wanted to hear, and we pretty much forgot about it.
Did he just say what I think he said?
Let's see where he's going with this.
Down here, we can't get health insurance, fire insurance, life insurance. Why haven't you come out to Senate Bill 2720?
Well, because you haven't really contributed any money to my campaign, have you? You got any idea how much these insurance companies come up with? They pretty much depend on me to get a bill like that and bottle it up in my committee during an election, and in that way, we can kill it when you're not looking.
Fred, when you say buy the book, what book would that be?
The Democratic Party don't care about the African American community.
Isn't that obvious? Hey, you got half of your kids out of work and the other half are in jail. Do you see any Democrat doing anything about it? Certainly not me. So what are you going to do, vote Republican? Come on, you're not going to vote Republican. Let's call a spade a spade. I mean, come on, you can have a 1 billion man march. If you don't put down that malt liquor and chicken wings and get behind somebody other than a running back who stabs his wife, you're never going to get rid of somebody like me.
Truth has never been said more plainly.
Wow.
That is probably the most famous speech in the movie.
In which Oliver Platt stops all of the craziness by pulling the fire alarm to get everybody the hell out of there.
Yeah, and he basically goes on a tour of doing that.
Right. So he ends up, after he gets done with this, he right away, I guess what would be right now the millennial group of people, constituents at that church, automatically like, oh, this dude's awesome. We want to follow him. So he gets a bunch of chicks, hood rats, and that decide they want to volunteer for his campaign because they like politics and shit. Was their exact statement.
And they are led by
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
We all feel the same. So he
Vampirus Halle Berry.
Yes.
Yes.
So he decides that they load him up. Now, mind you, the entire time this is going on, they're being
She's like
followed.
Queen of the Damned.
Possibly.
Like she's the head female vampire. Her, Stacey Dash. I don't know who's been doing it longer in the game.
Right. So by the way, they're being followed by C-SPAN while all this is going on. So all of this is being recorded and broadcast live to the public, so everyone sees what's going on. So they plow him into the car, and they go to the next meeting, which is actually with the Filmmakers Association of Hollywood or whatever.
MPAA, I believe.
Whatever it is, he gets there. He's already been drinking on the plane. He's got no food in him, so he starts eating everything in the place, and starts talking to these guys. And they're all asking him questions like, should there be regulations on how we make our movies, yada yada. And he basically goes off on a tirade about how Jews own the film media, how they're making tons of money for making shit movies, and they should just stop it.
Message.
And he proclaims that he wants more of those little crispy crab cakes, and pretty much screws over any chance he has of getting any money from anybody from the Film Association.
Yeah, he's basically sabotaging his career and doesn't care.
Because he knows he wants to go down in flames, and he wants the period punctuation on his life
said,
to be
"Fuck
that
it."
gunshot.
He said fuck it.
Which is kind of also funny because the entire time he knows that there's an assassin after him. He doesn't know when it's coming, so every time he hears a loud noise or sees anybody off, he freaks out.
That natural instinct takes in. He covers around and he's like ducks from place to place.
Yeah. What is a motorcycle backfires and he like jumps down into the floorboard of the car.
He's gonna make this hitman earn his money.
Oh yeah, he ain't getting it easy. That's for sure.
Then he goes to the club, right?
Right. His next stop is a club because the girls that were following him, his hood rat entourage, end up wrecking. They end up volunteering at the Film Association, parking for the valets, and wreck several of the cars. So he invites them in because he has had his eye on Halle Berry since they left the church. He just tried to figure out how to get her in his car. So he finally gets the hood rats and Halle Berry in the car, and they suggest that they should go to a nightclub. So against Oliver Platt's will, they go to this nightclub. They get in. Halle Berry gets them in, and he proceeds to go to the bar where he gets a blunt off of some huge black guy at the bar and just starts smoking it.
He gets really fucked up.
Yeah. So he's drinking, he's smoking, and he's basically eyeing Halle Berry. He wants to get in him whatever the hell she was wearing. I don't know if those jeans were not. I don't know. Those jeans were low cut, and whatever she had underneath them were high cut. Yeah, like you can see everything. But he wanted in them, and he was going after her. So he starts rapping and singing, trying to find her, while she is trying to talk Don Cheadle's character into not killing her brother, who owes him money.
And Don Cheadle's a crack dealer.
Yes, and apparently the owner of this club.
So after leaving the club,
he heads out to go talk to the insurance companies, which he's pledged to. They've lobbied him to vote against a bill that would force them into allowing single payer insurance coverage, and they don't want this. So he is supposed to vote for them for this. He's supposed to help them vote this out. But he's quickly learning that he doesn't like them. When he gets there, he on television takes a hit from a flask and basically starts rapping his intentions.
What do we do? Well, it's up to you. You know, it ain't that funny. You contribute all my money. You make your contribution, then you get your solution. As long as you can pay, I'm going to do it all your way. Yes, the money talks and the people walk. Yeah. Now let me hear you say it. Big money.
Oh, big money. Big money.
Big money. Big money. Big money. Big money. Big money. Big money. One man, one vote. Now is that really real? The name of our game is Let's Make a Deal. Now people got their problems, the haves and the have-nots, but the ones that make me listen pay for 30-second spots.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Yo, Bank of America, this table over here, Wells Fargo and Citibank, you really very dear. Loan billions to Mexico and never have to fear, because taxpayers, take it in the rear.
Take it in the rear. Take it in the rear. Take it in the rear. Take it in the rear.
Yo, over here, we got our friends from oil. They don't give a shit how much wilderness they spoil. They tell us that they're careful. We know that it's a lie. As long as we keep driving cars that let the planet die.
Let the planet die. Let the planet die.
Exxon, Mobil, the Saudis in Kuwait. If we still got the Middle East, the atmosphere can wait. The Arabs got the oil, we buy everything they sell. But if the brothers raise the price, we blow them all to hell. Now let me hear you say it. Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein.
I want you to get me a phone number. Dr. Morris Fishman, UCLA. He's at the Department of Psychiatry. Go, get the number now. Get it now.
Yo,
go.
Everybody gonna get sick someday, but nobody know how they gonna pay. Healthcare, managed care, HMOs ain't gonna work, no sir, not those. Cause the thing that's the same in every one of these motherfuckers there, the insurance companies. Yo, you can call it single payer a Canadian way. Only socialized medicine will ever save the day. Come on now, let me hear that dirty word. Socialism!
Again, this movie it just resonates with like what I think a lot of people actually think about politics, and it puts a lot of shit right on Front Street. Like, this is all shit that's real in politics.
Yeah,
and he's just like, here you go.
Yeah, I think from the writer's standpoint, they knew what the issues were, they knew why people were mad, and they knew what was going on. So it's clearly very well written.
Yeah, so at this point, he's decided that he's going to just let that marinate for a while. And he runs off and hides out in the ghetto. With Nina and her family in Compton, I think it is. And knowing that no one's going to follow them in there, I'm guessing, he hides out and finally kind of he walks around the neighborhood, gets to know.
Well, he falls asleep for a while. Right?
Yeah.
And then wakes up.
Yeah, because he had been...
Oh, wait, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't sleep yet. No, he gets clothes. Yeah. And then, walks around the neighborhood, finds the kids selling crack.
right.
and buys him ice cream or they get into it with the
cops. Yep.
And the cops, remember?
Yep.
The white racist cop in every movie about South Central Los Angeles.
Yep. And then the white guy walks up and talks him out and explains to and tells him to leave him alone, and he buys them all ice cream, and he hears the actual story of how these kids are living and finds out that they're actually they
work for
distributor.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah, they
LD.
give out LD.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah, they mule for LD and sell drugs for him. And he ends up talking to LD and Nina about the plight of black people in the ghetto, and finds out like some real the real issues that they're concerned about, and the things that bother them about government institutions, education, things like that.
And then he goes to the television appearance.
He finally pops back up in the public eye at an appearance that was arranged way earlier by what's his face, Oliver Platt. Oliver Platt is one of my favorite actors. I don't know. I just as an aside,
he's a good actor.
There's so many things that he's in, and
he's always just that side guy, though.
Yeah,
ready to rumble, though.
His characters are so wide ranging. Like he was in Lake Placid.
What was
a
his
weird character?
What was the king?
Yeah,
no, was it the king?
It was the king.
It was the king.
Oh man,
what were you trying to ask?
Jimmy something.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't remember what his last name was. And you're right, it was Jimmy. It was his first name.
But anyway, so he goes on the TV show,
right?
And he ends up coming up with the solution. Everybody should fuck everybody,
right?
So we're all the same color.
Exactly. I'm doing my part. But so that's his solution.
Jimmy King.
Yep.
I was looking for it. Did you finally get IMDb to work?
No, I can't find it on IMDb. I had to just Google it. So anyway, they end up turning off the lights, which somehow nobody can figure out. Right. Oliver Platt did that.
Yeah.
All he did was lower one of those
dimmer switch,
and nobody was like, "Oh my God, shut it down! We're gonna stop the debate." And then that's basically has to wait for the election results, right?
Right, and basically he disappears again, goes back to Nina's, and this is where he just basically goes to sleep for 3 days.
Well, because he finds out that
Nina
was the one hired to kill him,
and she was only doing it to
make
back
the money,
LD.
and he gives her the money,
right?
So he realizes he's not going to die anymore because he had been having a change of heart, and he kept trying to contact and get in touch with the one guy, but the one guy was dead,
right? And LD was like, well, you know what? I won't kill your brother, but I'll let him work it off. So now she's not quite in as desperate need to kill him. So she's and she's falling in love with him. He's obviously in love with her.
Thing is, though, man, after finding that out, I don't know if I could sleep with 36 hours around somebody that was just attempting to assassinate me for 3 days.
Just let me know that I've been trying to kill you.
And then he wakes up.
That's
and
trust.
He wakes up, and it's like that. It's like that situation where you got really drunk at a party or something, so you ended up going home with some chick, and you're really drunk, so her roommates are still up, and she's not the most attractive, and you have nothing in common with her, so you're hanging out with the roommates that night while you're drunk because you're social, you're in a good mood, and you're trying to fuck a kind of ugly chick, and then you fuck her, you sleep it off the next day, you wake up, and you're just like, ooh, where am I? I don't belong here.
Somebody sounds like he's speaking from experience.
You think?
You jumped on a couple hand grenades, huh, brother?
No, the sad thing is, no, they weren't hand grenades because they weren't launched at anyone else. I was seeking them out.
You pulled the pin yourself.
I just couldn't find. I couldn't find anything else through the whole night.
Nice.
Everybody's not a whole lot, but there's been a time or two. But yeah, you wake up the next morning and you just look around like, ooh, what am I doing here? Who are you people?
Hopefully,
that's kind of how he is, right? When he wakes up, he's like, oh man, I just did a lot of drugs. I am at a black family's house in South Central Los Angeles. I am a fucking senator. And and it is great because they're all kind of but he kind of treats them different at first because they're all like, hey, Boer, they remember that guy, and he's all like, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah. I'm Senator Jay Bulworth.
He forgot that he was the other Bulworth.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, he goes right back into that corporate suit real quick.
Yeah.
And then eventually he goes outside and he finds out he's won the Senate in a landslide, and they want him to run for president. After he's standing around, he asks Nina if she's going to go with him. She doesn't. She just sits there. He walks out. She comes out to him later.
Right.
They have the nice moment with the kiss, and the camera
Everyone
starts to
cheers.
fade back, and then bang! Paul Sorvino,
God,
Mr.
damn it.
Goodfellas mafia boss himself, shoots him. And he's kind of like left up to you what happens,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
Because then you just see that that homeless dude who he'd seen earlier, who gave him,
outside the
who
club.
told him he had to rhyme everything.
Yep.
And that's why he started rapping. Yeah. And then
Oh,
he
yeah.
kind of does the thing that he's got to not be a ghost, but
Yeah,
be a
to
spirit.
Right.
So you kind of don't know because it's outside the hospital. You don't know if he's dead, if he died, and that's why he's saying he's got to be a spirit. Like the spirit of what he was talking about has to live on,
Right.
or if he makes it, and now he himself has to live his life as a spirit. Nice little twist ending by Warren.
Yep.
Yeah.
To not really give you an answer as to what happened.
And I like that they didn't leave it at the whole them kissing in the middle of a crowd of people cheering as it fades away.
Right.
Yeah, because that wasn't what the story was really
No,
about.
No.
wasn't a love story. No,
Yeah.
it was very social conscious. Is he a really like liberal dude in real life?
I haven't heard from him in, he just crapped up in a new movie that just came out, and that's the first I've heard of him for years.
Really?
Yeah. And I think he hasn't done a movie before this one in many years.
You know how long it took me to not automatically associate Warren Beatty as Dick Tracy?
Oh God, forever.
I used to
Yeah.
be obsessed with Dick Tracy when I was a
Absolutely.
kid.
You,
I had the watch.
yeah.
I had the T-shirt
Did you
with
have
the
a coat?
movie logo. Huh?
Did you have a coat?
I think
And
so.
a hat?
And a hat, yeah. I think I had the whole costume.
I tell you one movie, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it, that he's great in, is Bonnie and Clyde.
I have not seen that.
That's from the 70s, I believe. Great movie. And Gene Wilder is actually in it. Shows up in a couple scenes. So I forget who else is in it, but it's awesome.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick commercial break. You are listening to the Showdown Podcast.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's commercial time. And I guess since this is Trump's America, Corey kind of has to go first.
So I do win something for him being president, then.
Yeah.
All right. You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at NK.
Oh, so close. Like Hillary, so close. But no, we're going to let the black guy go first. Vic?
Reparations. That's all I can say. You can find me online and social media as MillerKing51 at MillerKing51, or you can find me on gaming platforms as Black and Angry. That's Black, PLAQ, and Angry, like I am at this election.
You can find me at BradScottComedy.com, on social media at Brad Scott Comedy, Facebook comedian Brad Scott. Find the Showdown at the Showdown Pod on Twitter. Give us a follow. The Showdown Podcast on Facebook. Click like somebody should. Corey, go ahead.
All
You
right.
cannot tell a lie.
You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at NKOgonzo. And don't forget to check out Brad's other show, Wrastlemania. Where can you find it at, Brad?
Everywhere.
All right.
Wrastlemania Pod, at Wrastlemania Pod.
And Vic and I's other show, The Miller Times Podcast, where we talk TV. And you can find that on Twitter at The Miller Times Pod. Also on iTunes and Podomatic.
Let's get back to the show. Welcome back to the 3-time award-winning Showdown Podcast. We've deliberated, we've talked about Bulworth, we've ran through it. It's now time, put up or shut up. It's time to find out if Bulworth is a survivor. So, Corey,
Yes.
why don't you go? Why don't you let Vic go first?
All right. I'll do that.
You should. Again, reparations.
Corey, why don't you ask Vic what his opinion is?
Vic, what are your thoughts on Bulworth?
My thoughts on Bulworth is that this movie is one of my favorites. It definitely makes it. I've watched it. I don't know how many times since I saw it the first time, and nothing about it has ever changed in as much as how much I like this movie. So it definitely makes it for me.
Corey?
Yeah, this one definitely holds up for me, too. Like I said, I only remember seeing it when it first came out, and I didn't even remember most of the stuff that actually happened in this movie. So seeing it again was refreshing, and it's like, oh wow, it's like a whole new movie, even though I had seen it before. So it really holds up for me, and I think it brings up a lot of strong points. Brad, what are your thoughts?
I think you could tell. I mean, it already is, yeah, but
is it one of the few?
Yep, absolutely, unanimous. Man, that chorus just sneaks up on. There we go. Yep, funny movie. Loved it when it came out. It's even more fitting almost now. So, I actually understand more of it now too. Now that I am older, because I mean, I saw this at 16 originally. I just thought it was funny, but I didn't understand a whole lot of the social economics,
right.
part of it. But really enjoyed it. So it does. It goes into the Showdown Hall of Fame unanimously. Bulworth, a survivor. All right, so. What are we going to talk about before we end?
Well, I thought you had something in mind.
No, not at all. Rank your top 3 presidents of all time.
Really?
Go ahead.
What?
Rank my
no order. Doesn't have to be specific order, but your 3 favorite presidents.
That I've been alive for?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay. I don't know why he's fighting you on this. Obama, Roosevelt, Lincoln.
Nice.
Wow.
Smart. Guy that freed the other guy.
Exactly.
Then Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Who everybody likes.
Teddy. He's the man.
I was going to say Lincoln. I got to go Obama in no particular order. And Taft. No, I'm just kidding. Clinton, probably.
Obama, Clinton.
And Lincoln.
Oh, and Lincoln. I have an order. JFK 3, Clinton 2, Obama 1. Let me some Barack.
Good pick.
Mm-hmm. He's just a baller, dude. He's just a pimp.
He's gonna walk out his last day in office. He's gonna walk out, light up a cigarette.
He got his brains blown out. We were talking about JFK.
Oh, I was talking about Obama.
Oh, he's gonna walk out with a crip walk. Watch. Yeah, I've heard stories. Look, okay, let me tell you this. I have a source.
Oh, okay, here we go. Good story.
I have a source,
hopefully
very close to very near and dear to me, who worked with Obama in the Obama campaign in Chicago and lived in Chicago, who told me one of Obama's favorite things in the world is motherfucker. He says motherfucker all the time.
He seems like he would drop an N-bomb or two.
He's been holding it for 8 years.
Well,
I think he's going to be like, I'm out this motherfucker and just step.
and then light up a cigarette.
It'll be awesome.
Did you hear Obama on Mark Maron's podcast?
No.
He did drop an N-bomb.
Really? Yeah, he seems like he would.
Yeah.
He's from Chicago.
He seems like that kind of dude.
Spent a lot of time in Chicago.
Yeah.
Now, I think he would give it to you if you really got into an argument with him. He's just been holding back. So my question to you guys is this: what do you think Obama's first thing to do when he gets out of office? So right after the inauguration is kind of like the kick, the send off, the bring in and the send off. You know, the in with the new, out with the old. What do you think his first thing he's going to do?
Smoke a blunt.
It is legal in D.C.
Yeah, I think so. He deserves it. If anyone deserves a blunt, it's that man.
Now, are you saying in private or
just like he's
or in front of the cameras?
Okay, he's obviously always going to
be
either.
It's a blunt.
He's always going to be Mr. President, but he's now basically a citizen at this point, so he can go and do whatever the hell he wants. What do you think he's going to do?
I go to Hawaii, obviously.
I think I'm with Brad. I'm with Brad because it's legal in D.C. He can get away with it. He just has to step off the White House lawn. But he'll do it. I think he should.
What about you?
I think he's going to go back to Chicago and have a fucking Big Mama's Sunday dinner. That's what he's going to do. Because you can imagine, like, he hasn't really been able to just kick back in his own house in so long. I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to go back. He's just going to fucking kick back. He might smoke a blunt in Chicago, but that's what he's going to do. He's going to go have some soul food. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, but
that's what I picture.
But he could have been doing that all along, though.
That's different. If you're not in your own house, surrounded by your actual family, like
plus, even if he was doing
what
that,
a Big Mama's house, the Big Mama Sunday dinner is. If you know what that is,
yeah, it's soul.
Yeah.
The movie Soul Food.
Yeah.
Soul Food. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as you know what that is, that's not happening in the White House.
Well, and he can't even if he could go back and do that, he's the president. He's got shit to think about, worry about, and being contacted about. So I'm sure he couldn't enjoy and relax.
Right. This is
Okay.
like he can crack a beer afterwards, stick his hand down his pants, and just like for the first time in 8 fucking
Light up
years.
a blunt, smack Michelle in the ass,
Come here,
grab her by the
Michelle.
pussy.
The new president says it's okay.
There's that knock on the door again.
So, as we were watching this, I was wondering, because we do recasting, what if we recast Warren Beatty with Miley Cyrus? How would that go?
Something like this. Isn't that obvious, buddy? You got half your kids are out of work and the other half are in jail. Do you see any Democrat doing anything about it? Certainly not me, buddy. So what you gonna do? Vote Republican? Come on. You're not gonna vote Republican. Let's call a spade a spade. I mean, come on. You can have a 1 billion man march, buddy. If you don't put down that malt liquor and chicken wings and get behind someone other than a running back who stabs his wife, you're never going to get rid of somebody like me, guy.
Okay, there's just something real wrong with Miley Cyrus saying, call a spade a spade. I got a problem with it. I can handle it with everyone else saying it. But her saying it, oh.
And with that, that is the Showdown Podcast. That is our inauguration episode. We hope we have pleased you, Emperor Trump.
This is very
We look forward to 4 years of golden streets and
Don't you
walls.
mean our don't you mean our grand overlord Putin?
Yes. Yeah. He'll be nice too.
Yeah, this is a very short episode for us, so enjoy that.
A very what?
Short episode.
Historic?
Historic, yes, because it's so short.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, Trump wants it tight.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah.
President Trump, Emperor Trump, Supreme Overlord Putin, they want it tight.
Making podcasts great again.
So for Corey Miller, Vic Miller,
No relation.
I'm Brad Scott. This has been the Showdown Podcast, and we'll talk to you next time. You better put down the malt liquor and chicken wings, buddy.